Today's history lesson is on civil rights leader Malcolm X. Malcolm was born in Omaha, Nebraska. Malcolm dropped out of middle school and a few years later moved to Boston and found work on the streets as a shoe shiner, drug dealer, gambler, and burglar. It was while serving a 10-year sentence in prison for burglary that Malcolm X became passionately committed to furthering his education. It was also at this time that Malcolm's brother alerted him to the teachings of the Nation of Islam and encouraged Malcolm to convert to the Muslim faith. Malcolm began studying the work of Elijah Muhammad, who preached about systemic oppression. By the time Malcolm X was released from prison, he was a devout follower, and soon after meeting Muhammad and agreeing to work for the Nation of Islam, changed his surname to X. The change was intended to symbolize the shedding of what he thought of as his slave name, as well as the X that many slaves received as a brand on their upper arm. Malcolm X was soon appointed as a minister and national spokesperson for the Nation of Islam. He also charged with establishing new mosques around the country. Malcolm X is largely credited with the increase of the nation membership from 500 in 1952 to 30,000 in 1963. The public nature of his work, however, led the FBI and national government to pay very close attention to Malcolm X. At certain points, the Nation of Islam organizations Malcolm X was involved in were infiltrated by the FBI, and the group's communications and activities were heavily monitored. Malcolm X was silenced for 90 days by none other than Elijah Muhammad for publicly criticizing John F. Kennedy directly after his assassination. While he respected the order, it was not long after that he publicly announced his separation from the nation and found his own religious organization, the Muslim Mosque Incorporated. After spending time on a pilgrimage to Mecca, Saudi Arabia, sharing his beliefs and visions with people of all different cultures, Malcolm X returned to the United States with a new energy and vision for his work. He began to not only direct his work towards African Americans, but to people of all races and ethnicities. He preached about human rights, freedom, action, and community building. While re-establishing himself, however, the old tensions with the Nation of Islam were still festering, and rumors began that Malcolm X had been targeted for assassination. Attempts were made on his life, and threats were made against his wife, Betty, and 4 daughters. In February of 1965, his family home was firebombed, and while everyone made it out alive, no one was ever charged with the crime. It was only 1 week later, on February 21st, 1965, in Manhattan's Audubon Ballroom, when 3 men rushed Malcolm X on stage during a speaking engagement and shot him 15 times at close range. He was pronounced dead upon arrival at New York's Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. Malcolm X famously said, "Power in defense of freedom is greater than power in behalf of tyranny and oppression, because power, real power, comes from our conviction, which produces action, uncompromising action." Thank you for listening to today's history lesson. If you like this content, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much and have a good day.